Language Foundations Vocabulary Flashcards, helping you achieve understanding.
A form of trustworthiness. The trait of being answerable to someone for something or being responsible for one's conduct. He holds a position of great responsibility. The social force that binds you to the courses of action demanded by that force. Every right implies a responsibility. Every opportunity, an obligation. Every possession, a duty. The proper sphere or extent of your activities. A form of trustworthiness. The trait of being answerable to someone for something or being responsible for one's conduct. The social force that binds you to the courses of action demanded by that force. We must instill a sense of duty in our children. A government tax on imports or exports. Work that you are obliged to perform for moral or legal reasons. A personal relation in which one is indebted for a service or favor. A written promise to repay a debt. The social force that binds you to the courses of action demanded by that force. Every right implies a responsibility. Every opportunity, an obligation. Every possession, a duty. A legal agreement specifying a payment or action and the penalty for failure to comply. The state of being obligated to do or pay something. He is under an obligation to finish the job. The territory occupied by one of the constituent administrative districts of a nation. The proper sphere or extent of your activities. It was his province to take care of himself. The trait of deserving trust and confidence. The trait of deserving trust and confidence. Control exerted, actively or passively, by group action. The, usually elliptical, path described by one celestial body in its revolution about another. He plotted the orbit of the moon. An area in which something acts or operates or has power or control. In the political orbit of a world power. A particular environment or walk of life. He's out of my orbit. Move in an orbit. The moon orbits around the Earth. The bony cavity in the skull containing the eyeball. The path of an electron around the nucleus of an atom. People in general, especially a distinctive group of people with some shared interest. Mathematics, the set of values of the independent variable for which a function is defined. The content of a particular field of knowledge. A particular environment or walk of life. Territory over which rule or control is exercised. His domain extended into Europe. A branch of knowledge. A particular kind of commercial enterprise. They are outstanding in their field. The area that is visible, as through an optical instrument. A particular environment or walk of life. The space around a radiating body within which its electromagnetic oscillations can exert force on another similar body not in contact with it. A piece of land prepared for playing a game. The home crowd cheered when Princeton took the field. A place where planes take off and land. Extensive tract of level open land. He longed for the fields of his youth. A region where a battle is being, or has been, fought. They made a tour of Civil War battlefields. A region in which active military operations are in progress. The army was in the field awaiting action. A geographic region, land or sea, under which something valuable is found. The diamond fields of South Africa. All of the horses in a particular horse race. All the competitors in a particular contest or sporting event. Answer adequately or successfully. The lawyer fielded all questions from the press. A piece of land cleared of trees and usually enclosed. He planted a field of wheat. Catch or pick up balls in baseball or cricket. Computer science. A set of one or more adjacent characters comprising a unit of information. Mathematics. A set of elements such that addition and multiplication are commutative and associative and multiplication is distributive over addition and there are two elements 0 and 1. The set of all rational numbers is a field. Play as a fielder. Select a team or individual player for a game. The Buckeyes fielded a young new quarterback for the Rose Bowl. Somewhere, away from a studio or office or library or laboratory, where practical work is done or data is collected. Anthropologists do much of their work in the field. The apparent surface of the imaginary sphere on which celestial bodies appear to be projected. A particular aspect of life or activity. A particular environment or walk of life. His social sphere is limited. The geographical area in which one nation is very influential. Any spherically shaped artifact. A solid figure bounded by a spherical surface, including the space it encloses. A three-dimensional closed surface such that every point on the surface is equidistant from the center. A particular environment or walk of life. A large structure for open-air sports or entertainments. A playing field where sports events take place. The central area of an ancient Roman amphitheater where contests and spectacles were held, especially an area that was strewn with sand. A part of an animal that has a special function or is supplied by a given artery or nerve. A particular geographical region of indefinite boundary, usually serving some special purpose or distinguished by its people or culture or geography. It was a mountainous area. The extent of a two-dimensional surface enclosed within a boundary. The area of a rectangle. A particular environment or walk of life. It was a closed area of employment. A part of a structure having some specific characteristic or function. The spacious cooking area provided plenty of room for servants. A subject of study. It was his area of specialization. Responsibility to someone or for some activity. Responsibility to someone or for some activity. Responsibility to someone or for some activity. The quality of being dependable or reliable. The quality of being dependable or reliable. A wrong action attributable to bad judgment or ignorance or inattention. I could understand his English in spite of his grammatical faults. An imperfection in an object or machine. The quality of being inadequate or falling short of perfection. He knew his own faults much better than she did. Geology. A crack in the Earth's crust resulting from the displacement of one side with respect to the other. They built it right over a geological fault. Put or pin the blame on. Electronics. Equipment failure attributable to some defect in a circuit, loose connection or insulation failure or short circuit, etc. It took much longer to find the fault than to fix it. Responsibility for a bad situation or event. It was John's fault. Sports. A serve that is illegal, e.g., that lands outside the prescribed area. He served too many double faults. The quality of being dependable or reliable. The quality of being dependable or reliable. The obligation of those of high rank to be honorable and generous, often used ironically. Something that is required in advance. Latin was a prerequisite for admission. Required as a prior condition or course of study. Anything indispensable. Allow farmers to buy their requirements under favorable conditions. Something that is required in advance. Required activity. The requirements of his work affected his health. The responsibility of a guardian or keeper. The responsibilities of a citizen. The responsibilities of a citizen. Claim as due or just. The bank demanded payment of the loan. Required activity. There were many demands on his time. Require is useful, just, or proper. This position demands a lot of personal sacrifice. A condition requiring relief. There is a demand for jobs. An urgent or peremptory request. His demands for attention were unceasing. Ask to be informed of. I demand an explanation. Lay legal claim to. Request urgently and forcefully. The victim's family is demanding compensation. Summon to court. The ability and desire to purchase goods and services. The automobile reduced the demand for buggy whips. The act of demanding. The kidnapper's exorbitant demands for money. The duty of proving a disputed charge. The supposed responsibility of the white race to provide care for their non-white subjects.
Become our student and get access to effective and free educational materials. Subscribe to our YouTube channel to become a part of our growing YouTube community and to learn English effectively.